Back in Forks, Charlie tells Jacob that Edward and Bella are extending their honeymoon. She told Charlie that she came down with something and wanted to wait until she was healthy to travel. Jake immediately storms out and heads to the Cullens' house. When he arrives, he discovers Bella and Edward are in fact home and have been for 2 weeks. Bella comes clean and tells Jacob that she's pregnant with something.
Ultrasounds and needles won't penetrate the embryonic sac.
Oh, bullshit!
I am not a doctor, nor do I play one on TV, and if any of my viewers are, by all means correct me if I'm wrong. But it is my understanding that ultrasounds have trouble penetrating gas and fat and can't penetrate bone or hair at all. So unless the embryonic sac is somehow made of bone, or the fetus is surrounded by a thick layer of fat, or encased in a bubble of air, or it's just really hairy for some reason, there's no reason for an ultrasound to not work. Furthermore, in terms of storytelling, what's the point of the ultrasound not working? I understand they want to add a layer of mystery to the unborn child, but how much could that ultrasound possibly tell them that they don't already know? Oh, and I almost forgot. This magical, ultrasound-resistant embryonic sac also blocks Alice's foresight powers, so she can't see the future of Bella or the child. How contrived can you get?
All this does is add mystery purely for the sake of adding mystery. It's fucking pointless.
Anyway, all they know about the fetus is it's growing very fast and slowly sucking the life out of Bella, as you can clearly see. I honestly have to give kudos to the makeup department. The effects they use to make Kristen Stewart look like she's wasting away are very well done.
Yes, I just gave a Twilight movie a legitimate compliment. Try not to faint.
Naturally, Jacob wants Carlisle to abort the fetus, but Bella is content on keeping it, even though everyone around her points out that it's killing her before their eyes. Bella is apparently hoping Carlisle can turn her into a vampire at the last minute after giving birth, though the odds are not in her favor. The only person taking Bella's side in all of this is, of all people, Rosalie.
Yes, Rosalie, the one member of the Cullen family that's pretty much been anti-Bella since the beginning. Now, for reasons I can't begin to comprehend, she's suddenly Bella's best friend. She picked a hell of a time to take Bella's side, considering her decision will almost certainly kill her. I guess it does make sense.
Overcome with frustration, Jacob changes into wolf mode and runs into the woods. The rest of the pack hear his thoughts and meet up with him. Sam says the unborn child is a threat to every human alive. How he knows this is anyone's guess, even the Cullens can't figure out what the child is, and their only option is to kill Bella before the child can be born. A decision I wholeheartedly support. But for the first time, Jacob breaks free from the Alpha Dog's control and refuses the order.
I am the grandson of Ephraim Black. I am the grandson of a chief.
And do you see anyone wearing a Team Sam t-shirt? What the hell do I didn't think so! That boy is fucked up. So Jacob leaves the pack, and for some reason, Seth and Leah join him, despite Jacob's best efforts to convince them not to.
Are you really ready to fight your own brothers?
If it's the right thing to do.
It really isn't, but hey, it's your funeral.
They alert the Cullens to Sam's plan. Sam doesn't want to take on the vampires outnumbered, so he and his wolves are going to surround the Cullens' land and wait for the opportune moment.
Carlisle, no one's hunted for weeks.
Why? I don't recall anything up to this point that prevented them from going out and getting food, so why exactly haven't they been hunting? For that matter, why wouldn't they have some blood in storage for just such an emergency? Sure, it has a shelf life, but if properly frozen, you can store it for at least a year. But I suppose it's conceivable that the Cullens simply don't know the proper procedures for blood storage. I mean, it's not like anyone in the family is a doctor. Oh, wait! Speaking of which, after an unspecified number of days pass, Carlisle examines Bella and discovers the baby has cracked some of her ribs. Not only is it causing physical damage, it's also robbing her body of nutrition, thereby starving her to death. One way or another, she's going to die before she can give birth. Despite this, she still wants to go through with it and will not terminate the pregnancy. Edward proceeds to berate Bella for this, since she has made this decision with no regard for what he thinks, and is basically forcing him to watch his wife slowly die before his eyes. On one hand, it's hard not to side with him because he's absolutely right. On the other hand, when has Bella not made a selfish decision? This is pretty much par for the course, Edward. I'm not sure what you were expecting. Anyway, another unspecified number of days pass, and while everyone sits around wondering what they can do to help Bella, Edward senses an idea in Jacob's mind.
It wasn't an idea. It was a snide comment.
What were you thinking?
That it's probably just looking for someone to sink its teeth into.
Snide comment or not, the Cullens think it makes sense. The baby is at least part vampire, so it must want blood. Fortunately, Carlisle has some human blood in storage. Amazing how he had the foresight to keep some human blood on hand for Bella, but they didn't keep any animal blood on hand for themselves. Dumbest vampires ever. So Bella starts sipping blood through a straw. Yes, really. And it works. She starts feeling better right away. I'll be damned.
I guess it's not that silly compared to the other shit I've seen in these movies, like sparkly vampires, terrible CGI werewolves, the wire jump of doom, and of course, this. I will never get tired of that.
It's also not nearly as silly as the scene I'm about to show you, where Bella tells Jacob what she plans on naming the baby. If you are currently drinking anything, put it down.
Why don't you tell Jacob what you've decided?
Trust me on this one.
If it's a boy, EJ. Edward Jacob.
Okay, fine, that one's not awful. Why don't you tell him the girl's name?
I was playing around with our mom's names. Renee and Esme. And I was thinking, Renesmee.
Okay, just in case you didn't catch that, EJ and Renesmee. I saw this movie in theaters, and even the Twilight fangirls in the audience were laughing at this. As they should have been. And I'm told this comes directly from the book. Now, normally I applaud filmmakers for sticking to the source material, but in this case, a little creative freedom would have been totally justified. EJ and Renesmee. It sounds like a reggae singer and a sneeze.
Well, now that you've all had a good laugh, it's time for the movie to take a disturbing turn.
Well, I did say having sex with Edward could destroy Bella's spine, and technically I was correct.
So if they want the baby to survive, they have to get it out right fucking now. Unfortunately, Carlisle is out getting blood with Esme and Emmett, which means the rest of these people have to do a C-section with no medical training whatsoever. This should turn out well. Again, I'm no doctor, but is chewing the baby out really the best idea? Well, good idea or not, it somehow works, and Renesmee is welcomed into the world. Still sounds stupid. Unfortunately, or perhaps fortunately, depending on how you look at it, Bella's heart stops beating. Jacob tries CPR to no effect, so Edward pulls out a huge fucking syringe loaded with his venom and injects all of it directly into her heart. And nothing happens?
I am so not buying it.
Then we see a shot from inside Bella's body, and I guess the venom is actually working. It's just taking its sweet-ass time.
God, even Bella's circulatory system is padding this movie. What the hell?
The wolves then get word that Bella has given birth, and they set off to destroy her demonic offspring. We then see Rosalie holding the newborn, followed by Jacob sneaking up behind her, presumably so he can do the job himself. But when he and Renesmee lock eyes...
It's like gravity. Your whole center shifts. Suddenly, it's not the earth holding you here.
Oh, dear sweet Lord. Jacob just imprinted on an infant. Ew.
I'm Chris Hansen with Dateline NBC.
However, they did add a line to Jacob's explanation of imprinting that he did not say in Eclipse.
You would do anything, be anything she needs. A friend,
a brother, a protector.
So I guess it's not all that creepy. He just became Renesmee's big brother, who she will someday have sex with. Oh god, that's even worse!
The wolves attack the Cullens' home, and fortunately, Carlisle, Esme, and Emmett show up just in time to help out. Considering how fast they can move, they sure took their time getting there. Seth and Leah also join the fray, turning against their wolf brothers. The battle appears to be a stalemate, but suddenly Jacob appears and tells them the fight is over.
Whoever a wolf imprints on can't be harmed. It's their most absolute law.
Even if said wolf has gone rogue and is no longer part of the pack, and has imprinted on a vampire, your mortal enemy, stupid dogs! No biscuits for you.
And finally, with the dawn of the new day, the breaking dawn, if you will, Bella wakes up. Bella wakes up. Bella wakes up. Bella wakes up. Bella wakes... Oh, for the love of God! We do not need another fucking montage! You've padded the movie enough! Just wake her up already! Come on. Come on! Thank you! And with that, the movie's over, right? Nope. After 2 minutes of credits, we get one last scene with the overactors, I mean the Volturi, who receive a message that Carlisle now has a new member in his family.
At least our dispute with the Cullens is over.
The movie's boring you too, eh?
Over? Goodness, no. They have something I want.
Well, it was nice to see Michael Sheen again, even if it was just for 1 minute. At least it was 1 minute of entertainment, which is more than I can say for the previous 107 minutes.
Oh, and after that, there's another 9 minutes of credits to add even more padding to this already over-padded tripe.
So, for those of you keeping score, that's 105 minutes of boredom, 2 minutes of credits, 1 minute of fun overacting with the Volturi, and 9 more minutes of credits. All that totals up to 117 minutes of ugh.
To know Breaking Dawn Part 1 is to know true boredom. Sure, it had 1 or 2 laughably bad moments, and I was actually impressed with how far they were willing to go with the rather disturbing birth scene. They pretty much pushed the limit of the PG-13 rating. And again, the makeup effects used for Bella's pregnancy were top-notch.
But in addition to the usual problems of mediocre acting and an unlikable heroine, the pacing in this movie couldn't have been any slower.
I cannot stress this enough. Breaking Dawn should have been one movie. And I can say that without fear of contradiction, despite having not yet seen Part 2. I don't care what they do with it. It won't be enough to overcome the fact that there is not enough material for 2 films. Splitting it up was a blatant cash grab. But there's no point in telling the producers this. They knew full well what they were doing. And since the movie made $700 million worldwide, I'd say it worked.
Well, as the saying goes, a fool and his money are easily parted. And yes, I bought a ticket as well, but I am a critic. I have an excuse. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Anyway, be sure to join me next time when... Until then, I'm the Smeghead, and Hollywood can suck it.